Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Delphine Konda with another Chevening Scholarship interview video. Today's video is strictly for Chevening Scholarship applicants who have received an email inviting them for an interview. And I want to just share with you a list of questions and answers that my Chevening mentors, one of my Chevening mentors, shared with me in 2016 when I was going for my own interview. And over the years, I've passed this down from one mentee to another, or one group of mentee to another. But this year, I have decided that I'm going to share it with you all and share with you exactly the answers that she gave me for the questions, with the hope that this is going to support as many Chevening applicants as possible. So if this is something that you're interested in, of course, do not forget to keep watching to the end. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I don't know what is happening. What is happening to you? Please click on that subscribe button and keep supporting this channel and sharing it with as many applicants as possible. So the very first thing when you get into your Chevening interview room, you are going to meet the interview panel, who are going to be, I can guarantee you, they're going to be very polite to you, and they will introduce themselves and give you their names. Please, if you can, go with a pen and a paper or a notebook where you can jot down few informations. Like during the introduction, you could jot down people's names. That way, when they are talking to you, you can address them using their names and titles that they gave you. It shows that you're more cultured and mannered and progressive in that way. For instance, you could say, Professor Konda, thank you very much for that question. And then you go ahead to answer. So it builds kind of a connection to the person. And it also shows the person that you are very attentive to details. So the very first question that I have in my list of questions is, why do you want to study in the UK? This is a question that you already have in when you were answering your Chevening essays. So just go back to it, revise it, memorize it, repeat what you have said, but don't do so word verbatim. So you could just memorize the sense of what you gave during your essay and then have a discussion with the interview panel on why you want to study in the UK. Don't forget, it's not just about the academics, but you could also talk about the social and other aspects, cultural aspects that you gain when you study in the UK. I have videos I'm going to leave in the description section where I talk more about these aspects. You can go through them and kind of get a sense of what I mean. The second thing is, why did you choose that course? Now, what you can start doing in advance of your interview is go to the website of the courses that you have chosen. Look at the course. You could say, okay, medicine 254 or medicine 388 course, or course 514. They always have titles and numbers. So you look at it and what it talks about, and you give your examples when you're talking to the interview panel based on what is written in the course. Now, there are some very inquisitive panel members who could try to Google it up front, but it's very rare. But when you're talking with examples from the course and giving the title and the course number, then the person that is listening to you has the impression that, oh wow, Delphine actually knows what she's talking about. She has done her research. She knows her thing. So it already impresses the interview panel, and they know that for you, this is business. It's not just wanting to study. You really know what you're studying, what you want, and that's why it is up in here. The next one is, why do you think you can be a future leader? Or why do you think you should be selected? Now, this is a leadership question. If you notice, the first two questions I talked about are course choice questions or university questions. But now this is a leadership question. Why do you think that you should be a future leader, or why do you think you should be selected? What you should be talking about here is, one, you're stating your work experience and achievements, the way you wrote it in your leadership essay. You state your academic experience, and you state how it matches your career and academic aspirations. So generally, just talk about your leadership journey, include your career experiences, and then link the two. So your work and career experiences, you link them so that you kind of create that connection between work and career. So you can conclude this kind of question when you're answering them after giving all your achievement by saying something like, haven't had the requisite experience and shown commitment in medicine, in journalism, in business administration, in the legal field. I qualify for this scholarship not only based on my professional call, but also based on my passion to bring change in Nigeria, in Pakistan, in Cameroon, in Angola, wherever, in Brazil, wherever you're coming from. That's how you can conclude something like this. Now, the next question I have is short-term and long-term professional goals. This is quite easy because you already have the answers. So what you have to do in this area is, When you were writing it, you were talking about the goals. But now if they ask you something like this, do not forget to discuss the policy implication for your coursework. Now, what is the policy implication? This has to do with your influence after you're back. How are you going to use the knowledge that you have gained to shape policy in your country? What is that problem that you're passionate about changing in your field of study, in your career, that you feel that when you have the master's degree from a Chevening scholarship, that after the UK government has spent so much money on you to get this master's degree, you're going to change that thing in your community. So discuss the policy implication. What policy is going to change? If you're a medical doctor, is it that you want to have free malaria drugs distributed for people living in sub-Saharan Africa? Do you want to change the healthcare system in your country? If you are someone working in the legal field, are you going to be having a particular policy with regards to crime and reducing drugs in your country? If you're talking about entrepreneurship, are you going to be using it to change the laws with relation to entrepreneurship? Think about that thing that you want to change, that you're passionate about. Stop thinking about whether what you're saying is right or wrong. It is about you and what you're passionate about. Stop feeling that, I want to make sure that 20% of young people get employed in my country. This is a very big dream. The government has not been able to achieve it. How can I be the one to achieve it? Maybe the high rate of unemployment in your country has been waiting for you to get a Chevening scholarship, come back and be the change that your country needs. So stop worrying about how big it is. Just tell the panel what is in your mind and what you are passionate about. Aside from policy implications, some of you can also talk about changing the academic field. The reason why most of us from the developing countries go and study abroad is because we want to be able to learn how they have developed things over there and implement the same line of change in our own country, just exchanging good practices. So you can talk about revamping the academic sector in your country. I have studied media communication and development. I could decide now that I want to teach in a university. After all, I have the experience, I have the academic experience. I could get into research and begin to discuss critical issues relating to my field in terms of media communication and development in Cameroon. You could also talk about how you can use your knowledge in research to be able to guide policies that would change situations for the masses in your country. These are ways that you could discuss your short-term and long-term goals. Another question that I have is, how will your country benefit from your experience? Now, don't just talk about your academic and how you can come back and help your communities, but also add there's cultural exchange benefits that is going to come, not just from you going to the UK and coming back, but you are also exporting your culture to the UK. Talk about that as well. It's not always those of us going to the UK that are going to get something and bring. We are also taking part of our own beautiful culture and diversity to the country as well. And then you talk about your end of course benefits, the impact it will have on you, the impact you have on your community, the impact you have on research, the impact you have on policy. Talk about that as well. What do you admire about British culture outside of academics? Remember from the beginning, I have a video I will put in the description section where I do talk about the fact that there are non-academic aspects of going for a Chevening scholarship and studying in the UK. It's not all about the classroom work, but also its intercultural exchange. You need to talk about what aspect of your culture you're bringing, how this is going to help you to learn diversity, living intercultural experiences, living with people from diverse cultures, being able to share with them good practices from your areas and also taking from them the good practices, learning from them why they are learning from you. These are some of the aspects that you can talk about. You can also decide to explore some of the British cultures that we have heard about, read in books. I'm a literature student. I have read about Jane Eyre. I've read Jane Eyre, the Shakespeare, all of that. You could decide to explore if there are realities to any of those things. You could decide to visit landmark places that you've been dying to go to. the Big Ben in London, talk about the bridge and everything. Those are things that you could want to go. They count. Don't look at it as trivia. There are some people that will never get the opportunity to see those things. So if you have an opportunity to study and experience this culture, then you also may want to just enjoy and learn the British culture. The British have a very amazing and distinguished culture. You could want to learn that. Those of us who come from Anglo-Saxon educational system, we know about this. You could want to see it firsthand and learn more about it. Now, aside from this, there are a couple of things that I would like to say that you have at the back of your mind. The first one is that make sure that you have a particular area, particular problem in your field of study that you're really passionate about. Also, think about the issues happening in your country. What are the current issues, political, socioeconomic? Think about them, even if they do not link to what you're going to study. Even if you're a medical doctor, think about the problems in Nigeria, think about the problems in Cameroon, think about the problems in India, in Palestine, wherever you are coming from. Think about how the UK is going to benefit from you going to study in the UK. This is a very, very difficult question, I know. How would the UK benefit from your scholarship? In a question like this, you talk about the cultural exchanges, trade and investment opportunities for the UK in your country. Emphasize that you become a UK ambassador for the UK's interest. This doesn't mean that your government is going to make you the official ambassador. But what this means is that if you come back and you're ever in a position of influence, it is very easy for the UK government to access the country through you. It's soft diplomacy than through somebody that has not had a Chevening scholarship and has not had any link with the British government. The truth is, when you become a Chevening scholar, you get a relationship with the British High Commission in your country. It is a fact. You have a very close relationship. If something is happening, you get invitation. If there are things happening in the city where you are and the British High Commission wants to be able to have conversations with the scholars, they reach out to the scholars in those regions, in those areas. So these are ways that you can answer these questions. So thank you, guys. It's been very long. I'm trying to interpret these questions as fast as possible. I hope that you do watch until the end, and I wish you all good luck. I'm going to try to see if I can do live videos either on YouTube or on Instagram so that we can talk more about it. Until we meet again, guys, good luck, and please don't forget to create some impact.